I've been fortunate. I've been in dressing rooms with some of the very best managers. I have worked for and worked with multi-Olympic medal-winning athletes, worked alongside dynasty-winning performance directors, and as a coach, I have worked with athletes at the highest level. I led a team from relative obscurity to Olympic medal success. But there was a cost. Don't get me wrong, I'm not blaming or asking for any pity or sympathy. I just believe it goes with the territory, and it needs to be made aware to people. Life in elite and high-performance sport becomes a lifestyle, not just a job. Currently, my health is not the best, and both physically and mentally, I struggled during my career. Major surgery and real concerns for my mental well-being were encountered, all while working and dealing with a high-performance environment. My personal life was and still is challenging, something that I now acknowledge has to be my priority. And I'm learning how to cope with the daily challenges that being an adoptive father brings. My daughter, who is now approaching 16, we adopted nearly 10 years ago, during the time I was at the height of my performance director Olympic career. Nobody knows what is really going on in people's lives. We have an opinion, but that is all it is, just an opinion, or an assumption based upon just a snapshot of information. The sporting landscape is ever challenging. We all know that pressure in high-performance professional sport is relentless. It goes with the territory, but it must never ever get to the level where it is deemed to be destructive. But that level is different for everyone, and that's the difficulty for coaches, managers and performance directors. It is claimed we are supported by world-class scientists that interpret data that should form the basis of informed decisions, but we often get lost in that minefield. I have my own theories on why, based upon a society culture of entitlement and justification. If only we could all remember that we are all there to support the athlete, the performance outcome and result. That belongs to the athlete, the player or the team. From the PD through to the whole staff setup, we are just facilitators and providers. I was an advocate of the lottery funding system, the concept that is, not what the system became. I'm not talking about the no compromise philosophy, that's a whole separate story. I'm talking about the environment and the involvement of a system that failed to support the people that were tasked with delivering it at the sharp end. I would lay awake worrying about athletes and staff and what the consequences would be of each decision I would have to make. Don't feel sorry for me here, that's the job. But who was supporting the performance director and head coaches through all of this? The facts are only a certain number can pull on the shirt in competition. In my case, 4, with a squad of maybe 12 athletes. The vast majority would be disappointed at not being selected. After the 2014 Olympic Games, I was in a daze. I was confident going into the Games, the team I led could challenge for a medal. They did, but something didn't sit well with me. The result I couldn't quite accept. I had to, of course, and missing out on the podium by 1/10 of a second over 4 days of competition was tough, but it still showed an amazing performance. It wasn't long. Days in fact before rumours were abound of doping involving the host nation at the Sochi Games. What transpired to be a huge systemic doping investigated by the now famous McLaren report and dramatising the award-winning film Icarus. As an official witness in the case, I have to be careful, but to this day I'm still friends with some of the athletes implicated, good people in general. I would never spoke of it directly to them and probably never will. Did they realise what they were doing? Did they have a choice? All questions that only they can answer. The intricacies of the story and the happenings around it are already being penned for potential publication. Not by me, however. I'm done with it, but it will be an unbelievable read. The medals are now rightfully around the necks of the deserving athletes, but the reward of standing on the podium in Russia is lost. The riches of funding, investment and endorsement is lost. It took its toll on me. I'm not sure if I'll ever get over what happened in the following years. In hindsight, I should have moved on when the many offers and opportunities were on the table, big offers, life-changing offers, but at the time, the medal had not been secured, the medal that was the objective. My health deteriorated more than I let on until I could no longer avoid major surgery. I've never fully recovered. The environment that I found myself in was not conducive to recovery. My mental health was challenged daily. The balance of wanting to be an advocate for all athletes and also make uncompromising decisions was not possible. In the end, I did what I thought was correct. I'm still not sure if it was. Certainly, if it was, I should have done it earlier. But known only to a few, the medal had been secured. It was the long, arduous legal process that didn't allow it to be announced. My job was done. It took me a while to rediscover my appetite for performance sport. I resented the lack of support for me as a performance director from the very people that dictated the rules of engagement, rules we adhered to fully. However, I'm not surprised. Phrases that were drilled into us at performance directors' forums were no longer uttered, such as the no compromise approach. Criteria that we had to meet and guidelines we were to follow were still in place, but they were now discreet. My last performance review was brutal. In terms of the scathing investment cuts that were to be made, the words echoing in my ears to this day from a senior official was, "Gary, your job in all of this is to keep all the athletes happy." Where am I now? I still think daily about things that hurt, but I try and concentrate on the logic rather than the emotive elements. I'm still passionate about performance and helping athletes to be the very best that they can be. I would like to make people aware of the arena that high performance sport is and how they build a support network for them to help them make the appropriate decisions at the right times. It's not all bad. I would not change the vast majority. I was very privileged to represent my country and lead teams at Olympic Games, and I'm immensely proud of that.